still keep going the wrong way.
Yeah.
I call to order this meeting. Do we have a public hearing first, rural development?
Public hearing, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So before we go to the pledge, we will start by calling to order the public hearing for the rural development grant application. We have a rural development grant. This is regarding the money for the patrol truck, correct? And we would anticipate accepting that money, but as a condition of it, we have to have a public hearing. So if anybody would like to speak regarding this, this is your opportunity.
That's the pickup, I think.
Yes, yeah, the truck. Once again, anyone from the public, if you would like to speak during the public hearing during the rural, regarding the rural development grant application, this is your opportunity. And I'll call one last time for public comment under the rural development grant application. And with that, that's really the only thing we have to do for the public hearing. So we will discuss the grant application a bit more during the regular meeting. So I would declare that the public hearing is now ended and call open our Board of Commissioners regular board meeting for February. And Commissioner McLean would like to start us off with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And will the clerk please take roll call attendance?
Commissioner Cooper.
Yeah, here.
Commissioner Kinsella.
Here.
Commissioner McLean.
Here.
Commissioner Postula. Chairman Shackleton.
Here. So we do have a quorum and one absence. Are there additions or deletions to the agenda?
There are, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, proceed.
We need to add a resolution for revenue sharing. We need to add the resolution for the USDA grant.
Is that a resolution or just acceptance of it?
It's just the acceptance.
Okay.
And I want to verbally cover the administrator's evaluation.
Okay.
We need to cover the union contract implementation. And we want to add an item for the emergency response item that was asked for us to look into at the last meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
The revenue sharing should go under resolutions. The others would all go under old, except for the USDA grant that we could put under new business. So does that sound like we're on the right track there?
Yep.
All right, so is that a motion to make those additions?
Please, thank you.
I'll support.
So a motion made by Kinsella, supported by McLean to add those items that we just discussed to tonight's agenda. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. And then we have an amended agenda before us that we should adopt. Is there?
I'll move that we accept the agenda as amended.
I'll support.
Commissioner McLean makes the motion. Commissioner Kinsella makes the motion that we accept the amended agenda. Is there discussion? I forgot to call for a discussion on the previous motion. I apologize. Any discussion? You could discuss the previous item now too if you wanted to. All in favor of the motion, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to agenda number 5. That is correspondence received in the clerk's office. That's on page 3 of the packet.
I'd move we acknowledge the correspondence from the clerk's office and forward them to the various committees if necessary.
I'll support that.
Commissioner McLean makes the motion, is supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that the correspondence be acknowledged and forwarded as appropriate. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to item 6, which is approval of the county board minutes. We have regular meeting. Well, item A is the regular meeting for December 16th. That is on page 4. I would I'd say let's do these one at a time. It goes quickly.
I'll move acceptance of the minutes from December 16th.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that the regular board meetings, minutes rather, let me try that again. That the minutes of the regular board meeting of December 16th, 2013 be accepted. Is there any discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries.
I'd move acceptance of the minutes of the public hearing of December 16th, 2013.
And
Item B.
any support?
Oh, support.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that the public hearing minutes of December 16th for the 2014 budget be accepted. Is there discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. Item C, public hearing for December 16th, 2013.
I'll move the minutes of the public hearing of December 16th, 2013 for the countywide multi-hazard mitigation plan.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that those minutes for December 16th for the countywide multi-hazard mitigation plan be accepted. Is there discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. Move to item D, the organizational meeting.
I'll move the minutes of the organizational meeting of January 3rd, 2014 be accepted.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that the minutes for January 3rd, 2014, the organizational meeting be accepted. Any discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. We move to number 7, which is public comments. If there's any member of the public who would like to address the commission, this is your opportunity. And we have 2 tables with microphones that are turned on. I can tell because their lights are on, so that would be the place to go.
Back in December, I addressed this commission regarding some issues with several broken systems, and I just wanted to publicly thank Judge Church for stepping up and looking into the problem. And the letter that I received from Judge Church says, Ms. Cirque, a few weeks ago I met with law enforcement. Today I met with mental health. I now have a step-by-step guide on how someone should be processed. I believe we identified a couple of key problems, while rare, when in the right situation mucked things up. I hope that these things we will avoid in the future. We are also going to work on reminding the law enforcement agency of their transportation agreement and legal requirements. We all agree that sometimes things get lost when lots of new people come in and they forget the agreements made by their ancestors. We also worked on expected timelines and expectations. I wanted to thank you again for letting us know about your experience and hopes of making things better for the future, Judge Church. So I just want to publicly thank Judge Church when there was other agencies and some county commissioners that felt there was no problems, and Judge Church taking the upper hand and trying to fix the problems that existed for families and children in our area.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public who would wish to speak during the public comment portion of the agenda? Last chance, public comments, anybody? All right, then I'll close public comment and we will move on to old business. We had none on the agenda, but we did add a couple of items. And starting with evaluation, and Commissioner Kinsella, would you please address that?
I've, as the chair of the county's personnel committee, I've gone through and averaged up the gamut of evaluations as presented by the other commissioners and mine. And the average of those on a 1 to 5 scale is 4.3. And that has been verbally covered with the administrator. And I would urge any commissioner that has additional questions of me to get a hold of me. So I'd like to move to at this time, just ask the commission to accept that as the number of the evaluations.
I'll support that.
Okay, so the motion is made by Commissioner Kinsella and supported by Commissioner McLean that the evaluations have been tabulated by the Personnel Committee, and just that we're acknowledging, I guess, that they have been, and that you reported on it. Commissioner Cooper.
Normally, we get copies of those evaluations for everybody's copy.
Yep,
And I'm
I'll circulate
requesting
those.
that I'll get it
For
to
each
everybody's.
individual one?
I'll circulate them, the summary. and,
Yeah, I think
No, I mean, we got the copies, I got copies of the full reports before.
I don't think so.
I don't, no,
I
we
asked-
haven't. I don't think we need to do that. I think we
George,
need to
I'm
cover
requesting
the.
copies of those. I don't think that's out of the question. I've got them in the past, Scott. This is not,
Yeah.
I'm not breaking precedent.
I don't think I got one.
If we're going,
Well, all right, well, let's look into it, I guess. I mean, to some degree, the commissioners want to be able to fill out the surveys, make comments, and have it go into a tabulation of total results. And I don't know if we've ever distributed the individual
don't think we
reports
did.
in the past. So, I know,
I'm not questioning the math on these tabulations, but I know I've got them in the past, Scott.
and
You know, they don't have to be signed, they're not signed, they're, you know, and so I'm just requesting that as I have in the past, I want them.
okay,
Mr. Chairman,
go ahead.
if we're going to go in and make those part of a public record of circulating them, I would request a closed meeting for that.
Okay. I think at this point, the motion on the floor is to accept the tabulation of them. Commissioner Cooper has made clear that he's requesting a copy of them, and I think we're going to have to figure out whether it's appropriate to distribute individual individual surveys. I can't answer that. I'm not sure. I don't recall it ever being done. When you say you've gotten them in the past, I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying I don't remember us doing individual ones, so we just need to look into it a little bit more. Okay? So we still have a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to the second item of old business. That would be the union contract implementation. Commissioner Kinsella, you placed this on the agenda. Would you like to address it?
We have, there's probably gonna be additional information, coming from, Administrator German, but we had, a pretty long session with the mediator and the, union folks. It was upstairs, downstairs, with the mediator traveling back and forth between. I guess that's the typical way. I haven't had a lot of experience in mediation type things. Commissioner McLean and Commissioner Pastula accompanied me on those. It was we had guests there, the sheriff and undersheriff. And the mediator went back and forth. There's still some unanswered questions in the process, and it's ongoing. I think we had to move to what's called implementation now. And I think Administrator German can explain that process beyond me.
Okay. Would you like to address that?
I think Commissioner Kinsella sums it up very well. I'd like to thank him and Commissioner McLean for being involved with the negotiations right from the start. We negotiated in good faith bargaining on 2 to 3 separate occasions with other phone conferences with the union. We brought in a mediator when we could not reach a middle ground. And so the next step was for the, since this is not a binding arbitration situation, the next step was to either request fact-finding or to go to implementation. And we chose to go to the implementation. And I have outlined the points of that with the commission. And I would ask for a motion to implement those items that we have discussed.
I would move that recommendation.
Okay.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella to implement, to proceed with the implementation regarding the bargaining of that union contract. Is there any further discussion? Commissioner McLean?
I've been involved in negotiations over the years and have been through mediation a couple of times. And it was pretty much a standard procedure for the mediation. I thought that we offered numbers of solutions to the issues, and I thought that it was good faith bargaining. We tried to point out the facts as we see them relative to the finances and this type of thing. And I think we made an honest effort, and I was disappointed because I thought that the effort that we made to accommodate the differences would satisfy them. But they kept coming back with issues, or the same thing over and over again, and it's just, I wish I could create money by just snapping my fingers, but I can't, and so that's where we are.
Thank you. Anyone else? We have a motion to vote on. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. And the motion carries. We move then, we still have another item on old business. Let's see, union contract. There was, George also requested we add the emergency response issue that Ms. Cirque brought before us at the December meeting. Commissioner Kinsella?
I see our 911 administrators in the room. And since 911 was implicated along with HBH, and I'm on both boards, I've been authorized to respond on behalf of HBH. And Tim's answer to the complaint is here. It's been circulated. Tim, did you have any additional comments on yours? You gonna stand with this? Okay. If you will indulge me on the response by mental health, Lisa Hinkson addressed a letter, and she regretted that she had to be in Lansing for a 6 o'clock state board meeting, so she was headed down there. I talked to Jim Moore, who's the chair of the HBH board, and he's down there already, so that left me. And this is a direct quote and a letter which I will offer up for the file from Lisa. And it goes like this. I reviewed and she responded on December 18th. I reviewed the letter of complaint you provided to me about the child who was screened for inpatient admission. I then reviewed the chart screening documentation on the case and interviewed the clinician who was on call that night. Below is a summary of my findings. I cannot determine the veracity of the claims made against law enforcement, dispatch, or staff at War Memorial. My focus is on the accusations made about HBH. It appears there was a considerable wait in the ER, which I also cannot comment on. However, we cannot perform an evaluation for inpatient admission until the individual has been medically cleared. If a physical problem is discovered and they have to be admitted medically, the mental health evaluation is for naught. Another one would have to be performed when the physical issues are ameliorated. Our worker was paged at 9 p.m. and began the assessment at 9:40. The on-call worker states that she barely spoke to the child. He was very out of control. She did ask him what he liked, but he would not engage. Most of the screening was accomplished via conversation with the mother, and the worker states that nothing inappropriate was discussed in the presence of the child. As a matter of fact, the mother had provided the ER staff with a written explanation of the situation, so it really wasn't discussed in front of the child, and that written document was provided to the on-call worker when she arrived. The on-call worker did call a supervisor to get authorization for hospitalization, which only took a minute. The worker further stated that the original order to transport was in the possession of the tribal police, who stated they were not going to honor it since it wasn't a tribal order. The worker then had to complete another order and go to the judge's house at 1 a.m. to get it signed. The longest part of the process for the HBH worker was facilitating the issue of transporting between the sheriff's office, tribal police, and dispatch. The on-call worker states that she kept the mother informed of everything that was taking place and that the mother knew what was happening the entire time. The on-call worker did not inform the boy. The mother did not want him to know where he was going because she felt this would only increase his bad behavior. Lastly, the HBH on-call worker stated that there were two family first workers in attendance that night, neither of which did anything to help with the child. She said the ER staff thought they were family members since they didn't intervene, even though he was eating latex gloves and sticking straws in his eyes. The HBH worker gathered up everything he was using to hurt himself and took the garbage can out of the room. In summary, it appears this was a very difficult situation, and it was long and drawn out, primarily due to the wait in the ER and the issues with law enforcement. The HBH on-call worker had arrived and completed her evaluation within less than 2 hours from the time she was paged. The worker then spent another 3 hours coordinating between Marquette General, law enforcement, the judge, and dispatch. In review, I believe the HBH response was appropriate and timely, and I do not find anything in the record or in discussion with the worker to indicate that the screening or other interactions with this family were in any way inappropriate or less than professional. If there's anything else you would like me to review or revisit in this matter, please let me know. And the original is signed by Lisa Hinkson. I gave this thing a kick and brought it up at 911. I had a brief discussion with Tim, and I totally believe his statement, and I believe his people are knowledgeable and they acted professional in this case. So I support that letter also, and Tim is here if any of you have any questions. I know you've probably all seen this. It was written to Jim. So, Tim, anything at this time? No? Okay. I just, I have some observations that I tried to leave out my personal feelings on this, but I write these responses, which I could make later under commissioner comments if you'd like.
We're talking about it now. It's
Well,
your call.
Okay. Well, then I would say I have really 4 items. The Lutheran family service workers who first arrived on the scene were not able to handle the 7 or 8-year-old child. I don't know which he is, even though at least one parent was present. So this forced the police to be called. And so it begs the question, if they were not able to handle a child in crisis, what were they doing there in the first place? After the Lutheran family worker and Ms. Sirk had lost control and called 911, officers were dispatched within minutes. So 9/11 shares no blame there. Initially, court was in session and judges were in their offices, so no one needed to page a judge at that time. So that error in judgment stays with the Lutheran counselors. While at the hospital, Ms. Sirk and her co-worker were thought to be family members as they had not identified themselves as anything other. They made no attempt to help in any way while the child tried to destroy the emergency room. The mental health crisis worker was forced to remove items like the wastebasket, rubber gloves, and straws, and the stuff that the child was allegedly trying to stick in his eyes. Ms. Sirk complained in her presentation to us that the child got no food. This begs the question, why didn't she or her co-worker or the mother offer to go get some? There's food in the hospital. To sum up, I feel that since Commissioner Cooper and Ms. Sirk wanted us to look into this, we may want to share the results with her superiors at Lutheran Family Services, just to be fair. And that's the end of my report.
May I speak?
Yes. Let me, and you be able to speak all you want.
Sure, go ahead.
Let me just back up a little bit. You know, when Ms. Cirque brought this to us, I think first of all, we're certainly, our first concern's with the child, and I hope that the child's doing better. And I hope, you know, and for the family, I hope everything's working out and the situation's improving. I think that during the presentation, I think it's fair to say, and correct me if I got this wrong, that there were 4 agencies that were named and you know, that we wanted to check with to say how what happened here. That included HBH, the hospital, the tribal police, and 911. I asked the members who are on HBH to go to HBH, talk to them, get a response. Commissioner Pastula and I would talk to the hospital, get a response from them. I asked Commissioner Cooper to go to the tribal police, get a response from them, and I think we knew we could easily get a response from 911 since it actually is a part of Chippewa County. And so far we did get, I distributed a response from the hospital today, and that I know all the commissioners have it. I don't think anyone else has it yet, but they will. HBH gave us a written response. 911 gave us a written response. Commissioner Cooper, I guess I'd first ask you, did you get anything from tribal police?
You know, I
and then
contacted him, and I didn't ask for anything personally. I let him know that something came in front of the county commission, and through Lutheran, or Wellsprings Child and Family Services and all this, but that Ms. Sirkin, and if it was okay to give her his phone number, you know what I mean, let them two do the contact, because I'm not the intermediary there. I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that he ever contacted her or not, but
Okay.
I made the connection.
Okay.
Where they could.
Okay, I just wanted us to try to accumulate
Sure.
the kind of written
Right.
documentation saying, here's what happened, and here's how, you know, here's how they felt the incident was and how it was handled. And I think we've got that information all together, with the exception of the tribal police, which I think was a large part of the description that we got of what happened that night. So with that, okay, I just wanted to frame it that the concern was brought to us. We're getting the information. We got the information, and Commissioner Cooper, I'll let you take it from there.
You know, I don't care what George thinks, and obviously he shoots from the hip oftentimes, and every agency is going to kind of cover their own hind end, and no one's going to be at fault. But you know, I think there's things to be learned up and down the line here from all of us. Okay, you know, there were some deficiencies, and clearly, and some of the stuff, some of the accusations or whatever George said, that why did the social workers do this? Why didn't they do that? Well, you know, I don't know what's the protocol for them. You know what I mean? And George doesn't know either, but he, you know, he professes to. And then he said that Commissioner Cooper wanted to look into this. I'm going to tell you what. If anybody sat in that chair and came to this county board with a concern, and clearly as severe as that for a 7-year-old child, of course I would want everybody to look into it. I mean, that's not asking for a special favor, and that's nothing out of the normal. And if any one of you didn't do that, and Scott, you took it upon, you know, clearly you contacted every agency and had them look into it. I mean, and that's the right thing to do. So I don't know how that could be a negative thing that George he was trying to say about me. But again, all this in here as far as the food and so on and so forth. When they requested the hospital, you know what I mean? You're in the emergency room and you want, you know, they ended up, I think, getting the kid stuff. You know, they did do all that stuff. You know, so I mean, I think, again, George always shoots from the hip, and he oftentimes doesn't know the facts, and this is another time. So just
Okay.
to point that out. And I do appreciate up and down the line, again, all the agencies that did look into it, although.
And I think that even in asking them to review it, I think a lot of them have looked at it and said, well, gee, how could we have done different, or you know. So I think they're certainly reviewing, and they're aware of the procedures in a case like this, which certainly was a difficult case. And as I said, I mean, my first concern is the child, as I'm sure everybody's is, and hope honestly, I don't know if it's a he or she. I hope the child's doing better. George?
Well, I feel like I should answer the shoot from the hip charge. I want to say that I acted like a county commissioner should act. I went to the agencies that I sit on as a board member, and ask the question. I would note that Commissioner Cooper makes a shoot from the hip remark, and he did nothing. You did nothing. So,
George,
the people in
As a
this room,
commissioner,
heard your report. Now they heard my report, so.
All right.
no,
I
when
wanna say
you
something.
get it.
I think Mr.
Let's stay in order, please. Commissioner Cooper, you have the floor. I'm sorry, Debbie, you had your opportunity under public comment.
It's,
But you let other people do it, Scott. and
No, I
that
don't.
really affects
No, I
my
don't. And I don't think
personal
there's anyone in this
policy.
room that would say that I do
All
except
facts.
you. Please be in order, Ms. Cirque. Commissioner Cooper.
I was asked by Scott to contact the tribal police, and I did. And I'm not gonna micromanage, I'm not, there's different agencies that are supposed to do their jobs, and I'm not gonna oversee and overstep my bounds and start calling up everybody and intervening for stuff that's, again, we have some protocol and those folks follow it, so. Yeah, George, I don't do it. I haven't done
All right.
anything in 22 years.
Okay. Are we about done with this? Commissioner McLean?
Just one comment that Ms. Cirque mentioned that Judge Church provided an appropriate response. And I'm sure that she had access to the various information that we're talking about. If not, then I would assume that we could forward it to her to show that we did do an investigation, which we should have, and we did. And I think we checked as far as we could check, as far as, again, contacting the tribal police. None of us have the authority to ask them to report to us, so we are hindered in that respect. But I looked over the information, and having been on the other side of the issue numbers of times, I'm really hesitant to make any comment, but I think that we did what we could to check on this, and I think appropriate action by the judge has been taken. I'm assuming that, because Ms. Cirque seemed to be satisfied with her response.
Okay. Well, again, I go back to the child, and I'm glad that there's people in this community who are there to help when a crisis comes up. I know that Ms. Cirque and anyone else from Families First was there doing what they could to try to help a family that was in a crisis. And I hope they're all doing better. So we got, again, I think the extent of this agenda item is that we did get information. It's available for everybody to review, and hopefully the incident won't even happen again, but if it does, hopefully things will go to the satisfaction of the family. So with that, I move on to the next agenda item. We are moving to, do we have anything left under administrator's report?
The resolutions, where did you want to do those?
We'll do those at the end.
Okay.
I think we're gonna go, we got one under new business, which is gonna be the USDA, so we're gonna move right to the standing committee reports. Or no, I'm sorry, administrator's report. Administrator German, it's your show here, page 51.
You'll see the monthly reports, Veterans Affairs, Animal Control, War Memorial Hospital, Public Defender, and the Sheriff's Department. There's also a special couple of commendations under the Sheriff's Department that I wanted you to be aware of. I believe they're called life-saving awards. And with that, we've had two building and grounds issues this week that I did want to report on. We had a major flood at the annex on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday night. A inside wall, a sprinkler head burst, and we were notified at 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the evening. The water was deep enough on the main floor where you walk up that it was over my tennis shoes. The extent of damage to the building is significant. We do have verbal assurances from our insurance company that our deductible should be minor. We're waiting for that in writing. But I want to thank all of the maintenance staff and everyone who is involved, including some businesses in the public that came to help us immediately. And we were told by the insurance adjuster that we did almost everything perfect and in a timely manner. The other issue we had this week was the phone systems went down on, I believe it was Wednesday. AT&T came out and they were out all day, and AT&T came out and was here for about an hour and a half, and then they left. We spent most of the evening trying to figure out why they left. And we did manage to get them back out here at 12:30 approximately in the evening, at which time they fixed the phones by morning, and it was a T1 line, of which one of the branches off of it had frost in it, which was the problem. And I wanted to thank my IT staff and once again maintenance staff for false fire alarms. Everybody pulled together this week and did a fantastic job.
Thank you. Commissioner Cooper.
In the administrator's report, he mentioned different reports that are included in the packet, but unfortunately, one of them is missing. The Veteran Affairs report is not in my packet. I don't know if it's anybody else's packet, but so it's not a complete.
My apologies, Commissioner, and I will have that emailed out to you first thing in the morning.
I guess maybe someone should review these packets before they go out. But at any rate, I want to. The reason I was looking for that was because at the last Veteran Affairs meeting, they made a motion. Brooks Partridge's term is up, and they wanted to reappoint or have the county commission reappoint Brooks Partridge to the Veteran Affairs board for the next 4 years. I believe it's a 4-year term. And so it's up at the end of March, and so if you want to wait, I guess, Scott, till we get that report and we get those minutes, do it then, or I can make the motion now and we put Brooksy back on there.
Does he want to stay on?
Yeah, he was really reluctant at first, but
You've been on there a
Do
long
we,
time, right?
We need him to at least fill out an application.
however you want to do it. I mean, they've done it different ways. And normally, they would usually just follow along with the recommendation of the Veteran Affairs Committee and do it. And then a couple years ago, we had Polly Clement filled out an application, and if you want, go through the application process, but that's not the normal.
Okay.
I mean, normally, that committee runs that, I mean, it's a little different committee and
Yeah,
that's how it works.
yeah.
But if you want to wait for the
And it's-
minutes, when we get them, we can.
Okay, and it's current up to the end of March?
Yes. I
Okay.
think he's on there till March 31st.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so, we could.
do this at the
We
next
could do a March meeting if we have the minutes at that point.
Okay, let's do that, and then we can place it on the agenda and do it all right.
And then I guess maybe, again, if you could get the minutes to the.
Yes.
Okay. Move then to standing committee reports. Start with Personnel, Equalization, Health, and Social Services. That is Commissioner Kinsella's report, and take it away.
January 22nd, 2014, regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Personnel Equalization Health and Social Services Committee was held at the courthouse in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Chairman Kinsella called the meeting to order at 10 a.m. with a quorum present. The members that were present were Don McLean, Ted Pastula, George Kinsella. Members absent, none. Others present, Jim German, County Administrator, Brian Pepler, Prosecutor, Sheriff Savoy, and Dennis McShane, who is the new Deputy Prosecutor. There were no additions or deletions to the agenda. The public comments were none, and the agenda items were the prosecutor requests. Prosecutor had a presentation on staffing and a number of requests. Mr. Pepler noted Liz Chambers had resigned to take the friend of court position. He informed the committee that he had promoted Dennis McShane to replace her at a grade 15 start rate with additional pay of $7,500 a year of stop grant funds. Also to replace Mr. McShane, the prosecutor hired James Robinson to start at a grade 12 start rate. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to approve the promotion of Dennis McShane to Chief Assistant Prosecutor at a grade 15 start rate with $7,500 a year of stop grant funds, and hire James Robinson as an Assistant Prosecutor at grade 12 start rate. On a voice vote, that motion carried. I guess I would move that be up for consideration by us at this time.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean. And that is a movement in the prosecutor's office. Is there discussion?
I have just a little bit, if I may. The James Robinson had been the sane prosecutor, and the burn grant funds at Sane had run out for that position. And so I think him taking this job, he was going to have the choice of going back into private practice or do this job. So, and it is Prosecutor Pepler's right to add him to the staff to fill that position. So
Thank you.
See, he's not a county resident,
he's a Luce County resident.
or Luce County resident, that's not Chippewa County.
No.
How come Brian never, I mean, you guys aren't personnel, and this is nothing to do, how come he never hires from in Chippewa County? Last one we had was from Sheboygan County.
I would say that's a real good question.
I mean, it just, you know, when you see these things, it kind of, don't we have attorneys in Chippewa that want that job?
I agree. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
But I guess I agree with you, but again, the lines of authority or responsibility or whatever are rather foggy when it comes to who the prosecutor can hire. I know there was concerns expressed when he made the hire out of Sheboygan County. That person has since left. And I don't think that we're allowed to have residency requirements, but the common sense of it would be that you would think we could find somebody in Chippewa County who could handle
God,
it.
his lawyers crawling all over the place.
On a plus side, though, as a former sane prosecutor, you certainly will have the experience of prosecuting a lot of those cases as you may need to in the future. So, is there any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Mr. Pepler also requested to have the chief assistant prosecutor raised to level 16 and be paid at the 80-hour salary rate, and the assistant attorneys be raised to a level 14 at the 80-hour rate. He also requested one additional staff attorney for his office. A discussion ensued. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to call another personnel meeting where Prosecutor Pepler could make his case for wage and staffing requests when Commissioner Cooper and Commissioner Shackleton could be in attendance. On a voice vote, that motion carried. I think, you know, I can make the motion at this time to consider this. But Prosecutor Pepler has indicated he wouldn't come to the meeting anyway, so.
Well, we scheduled a meeting,
Yes.
and the prosecutor said he would not participate in it. And I pointed out that, you know, our budget's already done for this year. To add another position that it's not funded, we really wanted to make sure it was absolutely necessary and really have an in-depth conversation about it. He's indicated he doesn't, at least at that time, he didn't want to participate in that conversation, and I guess we're just kind of in limbo at the time being.
Okay, so I would say, I guess that I would not call this a motion. I would say we discussed it, and I'll move on. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Could
Yeah,
I-
we'd already scheduled a meeting.
Yeah.
You know, so that we could meet with them and talk about it. So. And again, that is unusual, but it's also unusual to add positions in the middle of the year when we don't have the funding for it. So.
I guess it was my idea to call a special meeting because the issue was very complex. There were a lot of moving parts, and I thought it would be better to get as many people as possible together and to try to work together. That was the main thing. Sit down and have a discussion and see if we could move other parts around and get things nailed down. And it was an honest effort on the committee's part to come up with some kind of a solution. There was mention made in the discussion of money possibly being available out of the circuit court, the fund that they're going to collect all that money from. and how that could be
Would be allowed,
used,
but-
or how it could be facilitated. I keep asking about that money because, you know, I said that I will keep asking about it, and I'm going to keep asking about that money. But I thought that, you know, maybe the prosecutor could come up with some ingenious ways to help recapture that money. So that's some of what I wanted to enter into the discussion, and indeed, the administrator called the judge and asked his department to be involved in it, and they seemed to be not adverse to the idea. They didn't think it would go very far, but they thought that they would at least consider the possibility. So that's, like I said, there were lots of moving parts. I wanted to get us all together to try to work out a solution. And I'll tell you right here, I'm very disappointed in the prosecutor that he was unwilling to even sit down and talk about this, but he's making demands of us, and he's got all kinds, I think in here there's also statistics and numbers, and then one of the things that again we looked at was comparing various counties in order to get what other counties do of equal size. And when we look at the state statistics of the State Bar Association, which he is president of or chairman of or some big honcho relative to it, the numbers that committee or organization collects, Chippewa County didn't even report. So I don't know. Like I said, I was disappointed that we didn't have a meeting in order to try to work towards some solution to this.
I think this is kind of a twofold thing. First of all, he's requesting a wage increase and increase the hours. And you know what, I mean, we have a process, and at that time, that's when we should take care of that. So I don't even think that's worthy of a discussion, quite frankly. And he's only doing that because the friend of the court, you know, 50th Circuit Court, you know, when he hired that person and did that. And again, we know that James Lambrose, the judge of the court, can do basically, you know, I don't want to say anything they want, but they can set that court. They run that court, we fund that court. At the bottom line, end of the day, that's that. But we do have some say in the prosecutor's office, in the wage grid and the salary grid. And we have a process by where, when we do increase to 80 hours or a wage, right? We do have a process for that, and this is outside those parameters. So I think that's, you know, I don't even think that's I think that's a non-starter, quite frankly.
Well, and I think what I wanted to hear from the prosecutor was more about what he was saying, that he really required and needed another lawyer. And that's what I wanted to be able to discuss more than anything. And whether, and let me just finish real quick, whether it was another personnel meeting or a workshop or whatever it was going to be, it was an opportunity for all the commissioners to sit down and really visit this issue in depth. And that's what was on the table, and we set a date, and didn't happen.
And as far as the additional attorney or additional prosecutor, we asked for some more information. And quite frankly, he had an extra person. We approved it February 11, 2009, and we ended that funding 12/31/2012. So in essence, he had an extra person for 4 years. So if you take those stats that he gave us on the felony cases, there was no big increase. There was no big increase in his office, unless his misdemeanor case went sky high, but he didn't give us that information. So that didn't. So he had an extra person for 4 years, and apparently he didn't take advantage or use of that individual. Don, you said you talked to him about getting money from somewhere. And Brian's always a good one to say, write grants, or here's where we can get money, here's where we can get money. Riddle me this. He is on the SANE board. He was the one that, because they can't fund SANE, okay, they don't have that ability to get the grants and get all this money. They're the ones that cut that. He cut that position, the prosecutor position. Then he hired that prosecutor. So if he's all that almighty good at giving money, why in the hell did he do it for SANE? Are you with me? You know what I mean? And we get, and you know, we've set our budget, as Scott articulated. We set our budget. We move forward with it. Again, I don't see the staffing, the case. When he had that attorney for 4 extra years, there was no big swing in his office. And you can look at, I mean, there's some things you can quantify. Although he doesn't even submit them to the state, like you said, we can't get that stuff. But if you look at the stuff he gave us, and you can see there's no big change in there. I mean, for an extra person. So what did that extra person do? I don't know. Did they just reduce their caseload per attorney? I don't know about that.
I don't know either. Commissioner McLean.
Commissioner Cooper brings up numbers of points, and again, that was the issue, that there were too many moving parts, too many things unanswered, too many questions, you know, yet to be asked. And that was the intent of the workshop, was to sit down and come to some, gather the information, get some straight answers amongst the bunch of us, and maybe come to a decision that would benefit, move towards what he is looking for. I'm not saying it would happen, but I'm saying if we don't discuss it, we'll never know.
And the last thing I find pretty aggravating was that he's holding that image soft, that $140,000 image project that he so wanted so badly. He's holding that hostage and saying, we're not even gonna implement it now for a couple reasons. We don't have time, and secondly, we don't know if the commission's gonna keep it in there. But here we are, $140,000 in taxpayers' money. You could have paid for an attorney, an extra attorney for a couple years with that, but yet now we got the money invested and it's sitting there idle and no one's gonna do anything with it. It's crazy.
Well, and I would just finish, I think this conversation perhaps by saying, we do want to make sure that all our departments have adequate resources. The prosecutor's office is a very, very important office in the whole big picture of dealing with crime in our county. And but we need to hold every department accountable and work with them towards, their needs and what the county is able to provide. So, with that, I go back to Commissioner Kinsella.
All right, let's see, we're at Friend of Court. The committee received correspondence from Judge Lambros, noted that Ms. Liz Chambers was promoted to the FOC at the salary of $73,205, and that policy 211 be waived per his agreement with the commission. And it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to accept Liz Chambers as the new FOC at the salary grade 16 for 2-year level at 40 hours per week, and waive policy 211. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I'll move.
I'll support that.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion? All in favor?
I think, did you?
Sorry.
I just wanted to mention FOC is friend of the court.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We get talking in jargon sometimes.
Yeah, and our previous friend of the court, Thelma Boss is retired, and Liz Chambers is moving in as the new friend of the court. And Liz is putting her in that position.
I got a couple just
Commissioner
additions on
Kinsella.
that. Thanks. We actually, the new judge is implementing a new policy where he has an attorney in there that can do simple hearings and make decisions of law, where through Thelma's reign, to her credit, she did a lot, but she didn't have that law degree to do those final things. And so the judge really wanted to start Ms. Chambers at the rate of Thelma's leaving, so that's the way that worked. I guess that's
Okay.
it. Thanks.
Anyone else? We have a motion before us. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We have the Administrative Assistant Information Technology Technician job description. Mr. German presented a new job description for the newly created position of Administrative Assistant / Information Technology position, technician. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to approve the job description for the Administrative Assistant / IT Technician. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I'll make that move. I'll motion that.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean, that the job description for the position of Administrative Assistant / Information Technology Technician be approved. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
No.
Okay. Opposed, vote no. And the motion carries.
Okay. Mental Health Court. The committee reviewed documentation from Judge Church that she was teaming up with HBH to start a mental health court to provide mental health needs and substance abuse needs. No action was taken. We just received that.
May I, Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
received some additional information from Judge Church, and it was a very quick conversation on the mental health court. And if I understand this correctly, please don't quote me exactly because it was a very quick conversation, but she has been in the process of applying for that grant, and part of it is for training needs, part of it is for the actual system to begin. And she needs the prosecutor to sign off on that grant, but it's my understanding he can't do that at this time. So that program, although she's going to continue down the road, it's going to be more of an uphill battle for her.
Okay,
Can I ask a question?
go ahead.
Again, I can't quote you, but is it can't or won't?
From my tentative understanding, it is that he does not have enough resources at this point.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, back to you, Commissioner Gonzalez.
After that item, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, seconded by Commissioner Pastula to adjourn the meeting on a voice vote. The motion carried. I adjourn the meeting at 11:05, so I'll move for the acceptance of this report.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean, that the Personnel, Equalization, Health and Social Services Committee meeting minutes of January 22nd be accepted. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to Building Grounds, Jail, Legislative and Natural Resources, and Information Tech. Commissioner McLean.
It's easy for you to say.
Yeah.
A regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Building, Grounds, and Jail, Legislative and Natural Resources, and Information Technology Committee was held on Thursday, January 23rd, 2014, at the Chippewa County Courthouse in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Chairman McLean called the meeting to order at 10 a.m. with a quorum present. Members present were Don McLean and Ted Pastula. Members absent were George Kinsella. Others present were Jim German and Sheriff Savoy. There were no additions or deletions to the agenda. There was no public comment on the agenda items. Annex proposal. Administrator German gave an update on the annex. He explained a couple of proposals that were reviewed. It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner McLean, to list the annex with Smith and Company as previously proposed by the Commission. On a voice vote, the motion carried. And getting the date now, this was January 23rd. Since then, we have had the water damage, so I think this motion is null and void at this point until the dust or till the water settles.
We got something to list.
Okay. Okay, the next item was the jail phone contract. Sheriff Savoy explained that the jail phone contract was up and he wanted to switch vendors. Reasons stated were the lack of communication and workability with the current vendor. There's only a 90-day window to terminate the contract, and that had been done with the contract to end in mid-March. The sheriff wanted to switch to Securus, which has 64 counties in the state that is in use. There's only 83 counties, I believe. It is the only vendor who will work with the current commissary company and program, and by April it will allow for, this new system will allow for video visitations. The sheriff asked to switch to the new vendor and waive the bidding process. It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner McLean, to change contractual phone service to the jail to Securus and waive the bidding process and forward the request to the Finance Committee. And a voice vote, the motion carried, and that will be taken up in the Finance Committee.
Correct.
It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, seconded by Commissioner McLean to adjourn the meeting. On a voice vote, the motion carried. Chairman McLean declared the meeting adjourned at 11:05, and I would ask that these minutes be accepted from the Building Grounds, Jail, Legislative and Natural Resources and Information Technology Committee. I just love that.
I'll move it.
A very powerful committee.
Yes.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that the meetings of that very powerful committee from January 23rd be accepted. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Move to finance, claims, and accounts. Commissioner Cooper.
Finance Claims and Accounts. The meeting of the Finance Claims and Accounts Committee was held Thursday, February 6th. The courtroom at 4 p.m. I was there, Scott, George, Don McLean, Kathy Noel, Margie Hank, Paul Stanley, Sharon Kennedy, Michelle Schroeder. Paul Stanley was there twice. Tim McKee and Jim Jordan. We approved the agenda. Public comment, Stanaway gave an update on the need to switch phone services providers for the jail inmates. Correspondence received, monthly treasurer's report, travel report, and a report on the administrative credit card. Under the agenda items, the 800 megahertz redundancy request, Tim McKee presented a request to create a redundant link to radio towers from central dispatch. The key one switch would come from Motorola to Chippewa County to pay $9,047 plus the monthly cost for the network at approximately $300. I think there should be a correction there, and the total cost charged to Chippewa County, we have the bill here from Motorola, and that's $27,143 is the total cost for that. The county, apparently, Lewis County and Mackinac County are gonna kick in some, and, the cost of the county is $9,000, but initially Chippewa County is liable for that $27,000. I believe the minutes should reflect that.
Sure.
Moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella to create a redundancy link to the RACO tower from central dispatch at a cost of $9,047 plus the monthly cost of the network. On a voice vote, the motion carried. I'd like to change this motion to that at the cost of $27,143, and I would make that motion.
Would it be appropriate then to also note in the motion that the other counties are expected to take their shares?
I don't know what kind of an agreement we have with them. Is it a written agreement? Is it a contractual? It's not a contractual arrangement, right? It's just a oral. Yeah, so I think,
All right.
since we don't have a contractual arrangement, we are on the hook for, not on the hook. We're liable for the $27,000, and then whatever somebody comes back, we'll
Okay.
offset that cost.
All right.
I'll support that.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Tim also requested that the Eventide Model 725 recorder be modified, I guess, to the Eventide NetLog recorder at a cost of $23,000, and purchase the upgrade from Quality Recording Solutions. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to approve the upgrade to the Eventide Model 725 log recorder to the Eventide Next log recorder at a cost of $23,000, and the purchase coming from the Quality Recording Solutions. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move. This is based, I'm moving that.
I'll support.
This is basically an upgrade of the system we have. It's not a new system installed. That's why we're not doing the bid thing. I mean, it's.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that we upgrade the Eventide Model 725 recorder out at 911. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Union presented a request for the county to allow Vantage Point Financial Group to be added as a provider under the deferred compensation list. It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the union request to allow Vantage Point Financial Group to be added as a provider under the deferred comp list. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean, that the Vantage Point Financial Group be added as a provider under the deferred comp list. Is there discussion?
I got a
Commissioner Cooper.
couple quick questions. First of all, this was requested by an employee, so that's why we put it on there. Secondly, I think we're gonna need a plan document, we're gonna need resolutions. There's some other things that go along with this other than just moving it here in the minutes. I believe we have some documents that we have to sign and approve, and perhaps a resolution, so, maybe, now that Kelly's back, maybe we can get her to check into that and get us the right information.
Thank you. We have a motion before us. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee received bids for a new sheriff's department truck low bid was from O'Connor's in the amount of $25,515. Moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula to approve the low bid from O'Connor's for a sheriff's department vehicle truck in the amount of $25,515. On a voice vote, the motion carried and I would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that we buy the Sheriff's Department truck from O'Connor's. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The Fujitsu 670 scanner, bids were presented for a new scanner for the Register of Deeds. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula to accept the bid in the amount of $6,945.55 from First Run Computer Services. On a voice vote, the motion carried. There's more to that, and I thought it would be in the minutes. It also included a 3-year
Maintenance?
agreement. We had a couple choices which agreement we wanted, and we decided we were gonna buy the ScanCare. We're gonna go with First Run Computer Services with the ScanCare 3-year service agreement, and that was the total cost of that was $6,949.55. And I'd like a motion to include that we buy that ScanCare 3-year service agreement.
Are you making that motion?
Yes.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that we purchase that Fujitsu scanner from First Run Computer Services, including the ScanCare service agreement. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
It was moved by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to approve the RFQ for one Sheriff's Department vehicle and include fleet pricing in the request, if that's the lowest option. On a voice vote, the motion carried and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean, that we put out the RFQ for a Sheriff's Department vehicle. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Sheriff requested to switch phone service providers for inmates in the jail. A discussion ensued. This came to us from Buildings and Grounds. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, to approve switching the jail contract to
Securus.
Securus for inmate phone services and waive the bidding process. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean, that we approve switching the jail contract to Securus for inmate phone services and waive the bidding process. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Request for bids for 10 desktop computers and request for the bids for 10 desktop computers presented. Moved by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the request for bids. On a voice vote, the motion carried and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We discussed resolution 1402, that'll come up at the end here in open new business. There was a change made on it, and I think we got that taken care of, so the resolution you have now entails that change.
In front of us, yeah.
Union negotiations, was moved by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner Pastula to move to closed session. We went into closed session, discussed it, and came back into open session. Claims and accounts, the committee reviewed the bills and payroll presented for approval. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, to recommend the approval of the general claims totaling general funds $394,243.53, other funds claims of $384,222.83, payroll of $470,644.51, and health department claims of $503,748.23. That was through December, and $535,485.82 for January's claims. Total claims of $2,315,344.92. It was vouchers H1 through H308. voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Motion made by, I'm sorry.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
There's no other business to come before the board, so we close the meeting at 4:55. I move for acceptance of these minutes.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that the meeting minutes of finance claims and accounts for February 6, 2014 be accepted. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We go to new business, which is number 11 on our agenda. We start with allocation board, and that is for a position that's available for appointment. And isn't that right? Yeah, for the tax allocation board. And do we need, I guess we need to make the motion to go ahead and do this.
I'll make the motion.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean, that we publicize the opening for a position on the Chippewa County Allocation Board. So anyone who's interested should check perhaps with the county clerk and apply for it. But it will be advertised, and that's what we're doing today. Is there discussion regarding the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. On new business, we added to the USDA grant, and Commissioner Kinsella, you added that to the agenda?
Yeah, just bear with me here while I find it.
When you're looking for stuff, you have the resolution for
It's really
the
this.
revenue sharing?
I find that one.
Yeah, I got that. Here, I'll pass it over.
Yeah, it's under-
I'm pretty sure I got it. Right here.
I've got two, I've got two of the resolutions here for the. Here's the USDA.
Okay, you want me to help you out a little bit, George?
I-
on this?
No, this is the truck.
Yeah, we're on the truck right now.
That's the USDA one, isn't it?
Okay.
The truck.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Then I did have that, I just tore it apart. Anyway, this is just the formality of going through it. The total amount of the grant is $8,380, and we're gonna put the rest out of the Sheriff's Department funds to buy the patrol truck, and we've gotten the favorable bid. I believe that was from O'Connor's, so
We're really just accepting the
83.
grant.
Yep.
Is what we're doing.
And I'll
Is
make that motion.
I'll support that.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean, that we accept the grant of $8,380 to go towards that truck that we previously authorized be purchased from O'Connor's. Commissioner Cooper?
When you read through some of that things, it's dated 2013, and it's also on a document, we don't have, the one that came on the email, it said it ended December 31st, 2015. So all those dates were in there. Kelly reassured me that it was still good, but I'm just letting you know that everything is dated to that, so I don't know if you have a problem with it or not, but.
I saw that too.
Yeah, also, I cleared up with the sheriff. It had, one part of that thing was, it stated in there that the truck was inadequate, and I think they meant adequate to meet the demands of pulling the equipment. I did ask the sheriff, is that really is it really adequate, you know, or do you need something heavier? And he assured me that it was heavy enough.
That's that autocorrect getting you again.
I think so.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. The motion carries. Okay, I kinda slipped that in there. I thought we only had A, but I see here we also have
The revenue.
the
share.
the UP 911 Authority
Yeah, we have to do
Board
that.
appointment. That's on page 81.
Mr. Chair?
Yes. Help me out with this.
I would respectfully ask the commission, Mr. McKee is by far and above the most qualified, but he's been sitting on that board for some time. I don't think the county itself could do any better than Mr. McKee. I think this should just be kind of an automatic, and wish the commission would make a vote to reappoint Mr. McKee.
Also move.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that Tim McKee be reappointed to the UP 911 Authority Board as the Chippewa County appointment. And that is for a term of 3 years. Is there discussion regarding the motion? Commissioner McLean.
I want to publicly praise Mr. McKee. He doesn't often get the appropriate praise, but he does an excellent job, and he's a key member of this UP board. He is the one that's been very much instrumental in putting this all together. The UP is looked at by the rest of the state as being being a leader relative to 911 advancements and technology and everything else, and I think I just wanted to mention that Mr. McKee is the reason for that, and I wanted to publicly offer him that praise.
Thank you. It's deserved. Praise well deserved. Once again, we have a motion in front of us yet, don't we? That we need to vote on? Then all in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. We move to our resolution 1401. This is regarding the tribute to Ron Callery for his many years of serving on the War Memorial Hospital Board. I believe round number is 30 years. And he is not asked to be reappointed, so we wanted to send him a tribute expressing thanks for his service there.
I move for the approval of resolution 1401.
I'll support that.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella to approve resolution, which is a tribute, 1401. Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Cooper.
Yes.
Commissioner Kinsella.
Yes.
Commissioner McLean.
Yes.
Chairman Shackleton.
Yes. And that's approved. We move to resolution 1402, resolution, this is yours, right, Don?
Yep.
Okay. Commissioner Cooper, you have asked for this resolution regarding retirement funds and the possibility of the state extending funding to Detroit, and I'll give it to you from there.
All right, I'll just move for the approval.
Okay?
Resolution 1402, I think it's only right and fair if the state of Michigan is going to assist one unit of government, it should step up to the plate and assist all units of government. So I move for the approval.
I'll support that.
And there, motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. I would just point out to you that there was one that was attached earlier to your packet, but there was a revised one that was on your desk when you came in today with some minor wording changes, and that's the one that we'll be voting on. Okay? Is there any further discussion? Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Cooper.
Yes.
Commissioner Kinsella.
Yes.
Commissioner McLean.
Yes.
Chairman Shackleton.
Yes. And is there anything else we added on that we need to?
One more resolution for
What?
revenue sharing.
I'm sorry, the revenue sharing. Okay, Commissioner McLean, you had suggested that we add the revenue sharing, full revenue sharing, as apparently, if you don't mind me just introducing it, the governor's budget called for full funding of revenue sharing, which we gladly was news well received, and I'll hand it over to you.
I guess following up with what you said, the governor is proposing in the budget, but as most people know, what happens between what the governor proposes and what is actually adopted by the legislature sometimes is completely different or never happens. So this is an effort to have that indicate that we are in support of that resolution or support of the effort to give us full revenue sharing, which would mean substantial funding for Chippewa County. Just as a sidelight, this morning I attended a meeting for I'm trying to think of his first name. I just met him this morning. The fellow that's running as a Democrat for governor, Schauer.
Shower.
Yeah, Mark Schauer. And I had occasion to speak with him for a few minutes and indicated that that is a primary concern to Chippewa County, along with education and everything else, but that this is one that we're very much watching. So I would move acceptance of this resolution.
I'll support that.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Cooper. I just wanted to point out that when you vote for Governor Snyder in November, you'll be sure to support him on these efforts.
Let's not get into that political
I was
debate
about
at this
to go out
point.
on a limb, and I was gonna say, I bet you that guy supports this guy. Full funding of counties, he's gonna give us all kinds of money, isn't he?
All right, just teasing. All right, we have a motion. I presume that this is resolution 1403. Is that correct? Is it numbered? Okay. So 1403 is the resolution to call for full funding of revenue sharing. And is there any further discussion on the motion? All in favor of, we need a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Kinsella.
Yes.
Commissioner McLean,
Yes.
Chairman Shackleton.
Yes. And that resolution is also approved. We move then to commissioner comments. Is there anybody who absolutely feels they have something to say?
Commented enough today.
I've commented enough too.
Okay. How about a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Cooper, that this meeting is adjourned. All in favor, vote aye. This meeting is adjourned. Opposed, vote nay. Unanimous.
Heavy duty, wasn't it?
Very
nice for lots of add-ons.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta go pick up my
Okay.
boys. Hey, Don.
Be safe.